Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be sharing a few ideas in winter inspo for this upcoming winter season. And while I do hope that everyone who watches today will be inspired just a little bit, for those of you who are looking for some winter ideas that aren't too Christmassy, for those of you who are looking for some winter ideas that just scream cozy and cuddling season, this I think is going to be the video for you. As always, a lot of what I share is done so in a way where you can easily transition from one season to the next. So I'm going to share a look with you today that I think easily moved from fall to winter with just a few minor changes, but I do think the changes were big enough to really give off that winter feel. All right, so the first thing that I want to talk about would be this small carpet, but it's one that I used to drape over the love seat here. I think it alone gave 50% of the winter feel in this space. I mentioned in one of my previous videos that you were going to see texture, 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 layering, layering, layering. And so that was the first thing that I wanted to do, was figure out how I was going to outfit the sofa here. And so this is a gorgeous, gorgeous small carpet. This is a 3x5 in size. So they did have a larger size. Everything you see here, I am going to be linking in the description box. And if I can't link the exact item, I'm going to try to link items that are very similar to what you see here. This is very thick and soft, and it gives 2 to 3 different shades and tones that are added to the sofa here. And you know, I love the idea, of course, the tossing throws on the sofa, but I wanted to do something a little bit different because this is a little bit more streamlined than a throw, because you know, a throw, it's you bunch it up and you style it in different ways. But this, as at the ends of this, gave its own little design. If you notice the way it drapes off of the bottom of the sofa there, you can see the different tips and points and angles of it. So this is actually 2 different carpets, because that's really what it is. But I think I'm never going to use these on the floor. I'm always going to use these on the sofa. I could have gone with a larger size, but I went with 2 3x5s because I could play around with them a little bit more on how I wanted to position them on the sofa. So you have one on the bottom there, and then you have this one here. And I just love what it has added to the love seat here. When I tell you, I come in here and I just look at it every day because I really love the way that it looks. I'm so happy with how this turned out. All right, so let's talk about what I did here for this console table. This is my next best thing that I wanted to play up. And I bought in a old garland that I've had. So we have in this garland some icy picks. I have some ribbon here. These are ribbon pieces. This one I think was a little bit long, and I cut it up just so I can tuck it and place it in different areas on the garland. I try to go for thick ribbon that is very close to nature, or at least heavily nature inspired. And so this gives me the look of bark. It's like a netting. There's slight pieces of acrylic in here that give off a hint of shine or glare, depending on how the light hits it or how it's moving about. And then I bought in this garland, which is a beautiful pine cone garland. It's just one piece, and I just draped it underneath the garland here. So what I want to share is what I did to layer and make this table look as full as it looks and fun. This is the part where I think you can get incredibly creative and have so much fun and be a complete individual when you're doing this, because you're going to do it to your liking. the first thing I did was I put a garland down here, then I added this wreath, and then I added the sticks. And that was my L shape. That was my different levels, lower, middle, and then high. And then I came back in and filled in with the fun things to my liking, which would have been the ribbon, the pigs, the deer, and of course adding the mirror on the back side. And coming over here to my swivel chairs, which I'm going to spin around for you here. This pillow cover, which I shared in my last video, fur pillow cover that I love, and I was mentioning, can you see how there's different little raises on it, but it almost looks like they are all in like a complete line. So instead of it just being a flat surface of just fur, there's the additional design of it where it has some areas that are raised. And then we come over here to my fave, this olive tree. This is that viral Costco tree. I've talked about it a couple of times here and there, that this tree is very close to lifelike as can be. So upon walking into the space, this is what you see. This is the Spanish moss that I had on this tree for the fall season. And I really was going back and forth. Do I want to take away the Spanish moss or do I want to keep it on there? And so I ended up deciding to keep it on there. Now I'm trying to decide, do I want to add lights? I found some fun lights from, I believe it was Anthropology, but I haven't ordered them yet. I do think that I am going to order them, and I may toss them in the tree just to add an additional element. All right, and then for the coffee table here, I, of course, kept things very simple. And the only thing that I did this year was I added some pine cones on top of my black books on the bottom. So kept the books. And then I bought back this cedar bouquet and I just added some little stems in there. So I kept things very simple on the top because I went a little bit heavy with the console table over there. And I threw a throw blanket, and I didn't want to go different with my throw blanket because it can get to a point where you have all these different little things bounced about in the room, and it'll be a little bit too much for the eye. So I decided to put the same blanket here that I had on the love seat over there before, but it matches the bench. So it just gives the bench texture, but not necessarily a heavy contrast. And so you could do that as well. If you have a lot of things where you're trying to layer and add texture to, so you don't have so many things just bouncing around, you can just add a throw blanket the same color of your chair or your bench or your sofa, but with that throw blanket, it is going to add some additional texture. And as far as the side table goes right here, this little end table, I just added a simple pine cone to it, and I'm gonna let that stand as is. All right, so moving into the dining room, here we're gonna talk a little bit about what I did to the buffet table. You recall I had my horse here, my horse statue that I love. I bought in all these different little trees. Here's another quick little tip that I wanna highlight here for you. I have 1, 2, 3 different kinds of trees here, and they're also different heights. So I have 3 of these in the Studio McGee line that I purchased a couple of years back. And I've mentioned I'm going to pull them out every single year. I did go online to see if I could find a link to those, and I could not. So I don't know if these are out there still, but they were out for a couple of years, and I, of course, snagged 3 of them when they first came out because I loved the brown pot that they came in, or you can take them and you can put them down in a decorative pot. But what I did was I found another tree online that was about the same height as this, but it offered a little bit of a different look that I thought was fun and perfect for the winter season. And so I linked that. But these are the trees again from the Studio McGee line. And then these little trees here, I actually got these from Hobby Lobby. Look how tall they are and very slim in size, but these offered a different texture and also a different color and also a little bit of shimmer. So while these are very strong with their green look, these actually played it up a little bit, gave a little bit more interest to the look here. I kind of tucked them in between there and gave you another layer, not only with the height, but also with the look. And the third little tree, I love this one. This one also came from Hobby Lobby. This one, I love this little netting on the bottom because it has music signs. And this little tree here has some little acrylic bunches of crystals on here, and it acts as snow. So again, this plays into what I was sharing a little while ago on my other video, which was layer, 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 texture, texture, texture. So that's all that I did to this, and I feel like it added such a winter feel to this space. And then in this corner over here, I bought in this tree. I ended up bringing it and using it in one of the other rooms, and then I bought it down here and put it in this corner. So this is where that big olive tree was, and I decided to move that out and let that be front and center and just add this to the corner. And then of course I added a frame on the wall back here, black frame, white mat with black and white print in there. And I'm gonna be honest with you, what's in that print is what actually came out of the store. I have not taken that out and added something different. Shame on me, but that is what it is. I think it works for now. So we'll move on from that. Now let's talk about what I did really quick to the dining room table. What I want to highlight on the dining room table is always one of my favorite things to highlight, and that would be the centerpiece. So let's take a look at that. All right, so again, what I really want to point out is another area where you can get incredibly creative and be super original. And so what I did for this one, I have this in my hand because I want to give you a quick visual of what is on the bottom of these logs here. So there's 3 elements that I used here. I used a magnolia wreath that's about maybe 6 inches in width, maybe a little bit wider, but a magnolia wreath. I used 6 of them to place them all layered on top of each other down the center of the table. And then I took some of these faux logs, which I've used the logs in my last winter look, but in a different way. But I took the faux logs, which I got from Michael's. So I have those linked as well. And I played around with them and layered them, gave 2 layers to them on top of the magnolia wreath. And then these beauties here, which are just some iced out or frosty like pine cones that I got in a little plastic container from Hobby Lobby. Those I just kind of sprinkled on top of the wood pieces here and kind of draped them along the sides of it. And I tell you, when I finished doing that, I was like, for me, that is perfect. It definitely screams woodsy. It screams winter. It screams cozy like and inviting for the table. So I was very happy with that. As far as the place settings go, I kept things very simple with them. I went clear with the charger plates, and then I used some plates that I had previously got from Home Goods that I love, some of my favorite plates. And then I layered them with a glass see-through salad plate. Some of my favorites as well. I actually think I got those from Walmart. Maybe last year sometime, but I love those. And then if you're going to be doing name tags or something like that, you can use the little wood logs to place them on top of your name tags or to lay your name tags up against. Or you can even do something like maybe chisel or cut like a little slit in each of the logs and use the logs as place card holders. So that's the reason why I have them sitting here. And then the glasses, I thought these were beautiful. These I actually got from Home Goods. I thought they were pretty pricey though. Not like incredibly expensive, but I thought they were pretty pricey, but I do think they were very unique. They almost give the look as if there's some drink in there without it being drink in there, and I thought that would be pretty cool. Plus, I love the color green, so these were perfect for me. And so that's a simple table setting that I did. These are just some gold placemats that I found at Home Goods, and yeah, that works. For the purpose of this video is why this place setting is here, just to give an idea and a visual of what you can do if you're going to have like a dinner party, a small gathering, or something like that. All right, and getting to the fun part here. These are those 9-foot trees that I've mentioned to you. Very simple, nothing extravagant, but I decided to bring them into this space because I really wanted this one to feel much more cozy. I really wanted to feel much more cabin-like. So I knew I wasn't going to be changing out the curtains to go for anything darker. So I figured if I bring these in here, just give some additional texture and coziness to the space, it'll make up for me not going darker with the curtain. They have some that's a little bit shorter, and price wise, phenomenal. I just put some of the faux snow on the bottom of them, so instead of bringing in a blanket or anything like that, because this is the kitchen area and this is a very busy spot right here, I didn't want any blankets or anything like that, so I put the faux snow there, which you can get for next to nothing price wise from Walmart. That's where I got mine from. And just feel the bottom of the tree there. So I put a tree here, and then I also added a tree all the way down on the other end. These flock trees were the first things that I pulled out of storage and started putting up in this space. So they were my jump off point, and they were the reason why I ended up going with this flocked garland here on the fireplace mantle. This is that flocked garland that comes from Walmart. I bought one a few years back, and then last year I bought 2 more sets. These are like $13.99. I think when I bought them first a couple of years ago, they were about $12.99. So I think the price is still good. They're over 6 feet long. It's 2 garlands, but I have them doubled so that they don't drag the floor there. So with this view on the fireplace here, this goes back to what I was sharing a little bit earlier. Layering, layering, layering. I have multiple trees here, multiple styles of trees, and then also the flocked garland, and they all just give this nice snowy look. And I mentioned when we were driving through the mountains of Big Bear and also in my old neighborhood, there used to be a line of pine trees where they just looked so beautiful during the winter season because they were full of ice, full of snow, just stunning. And so I had that in mind, and I felt like I wanted to do that in here because I just felt that having it over the fireplace right in front of the glass there would definitely give a lot more texture and dimension to the space. So with these trees, we have I'm going to share the couple of different trees that I have. So these, of course, I found in Hobby Lobby, every last one of them, but just over a period of time. These I had for probably about 2 years now, and these I actually just got this season. So you add a little bit every season to get some different looks. So this one is one height. So I bought 1, 2, 3, 4 of them at the taller height for these trees, and then I staggered them, which would give me my layers. And I bought 1, 2, 3, 4 of these at a little bit of a shorter peak, and then I added 2 of these trees, which are the same. And so this one, and then also this one here, they are the same. So I added 2 of those, and then I added 1 here of this one on the end here, and I added another one on the end over here. And I just think that this filled all of this nicely. To get the look over here, I layered trees and garland, and it gave it this wildly wintry like scene. I flanked this area with two of these trees that plug in, and they give a hint of a little glow in the evenings. So this, coupled with the tree here, is just perfect for this area. This probably looks really familiar to you. This is one of those fur rugs, the same one that I had in the living room area. I bought 4 of those and put them on each of the chairs because I really loved the texture that they added to it. I love the coziness. You're gonna hear that a million times over from me, texture and coziness. I love that, and I love that it added just some additional visual interest as far as the thickness goes here, and then the multicolors. And for the television console over here, I bought in these silver dollars. That's what they're called. I thought they were called capes or something like that. I mentioned the last time, but they're actually called silver dollars. And I had them in the other space for the fall season and also for the spring season, but I decided to bring them in here. They can actually definitely work for the winter season as well. So I added a bouquet of them on one of the side tables over there, and then I added them to this television console right here. I didn't want it to be too fussy up here, but I definitely wanted something that was going to bring that woodsy-like vibe. So I've got 2 bundles of these long sticks, which you can find at Michael's, Hobby Lobby, probably a number of different places. Of course, I think you can find them at Amazon, which I found a bundle. And they'll be linked in the description box as well. And then I just used some picks from Hobby Lobby, which give off this wood-like vibe with some pine cones attached to them. I decided not to have things too fussy around the television because we watch this television a lot, or whenever we are sitting down here watching television, this is where it happens at. I think this gave me everything that I was looking for as far as that wood-like feel, along with a hint of softness. I didn't want it to just feel all woodsy. I needed something to soften it up a little bit, and that's where the silver dollars came into play. And also, I'm sure you guys have seen my sheep. She's been everywhere, all over the place, and so this is where she is now. She has landed in this room, and this is where she's going to stay for this winter season. All right, and then finishing things up here, this is the throw blanket that I shared on last week that I really like. This is where that ended up. As for the sofa, I added 2 pillows, and then I left the other ones the same. So you don't always have to change out all of your throw pillows. You can change out 1 or 2, and that'll help change up the look a little bit. So these were actually in the other room. I bought them back here, and these are new pillow covers. So I picked up these. These are the ones that are full of texture and very pretty in person. I think that the video and the pictures don't do them justice. They are stunning in person. So these I actually have linked in the description box as well. And then my feather blanket that I mentioned, the feather throw, I just layered this across the back of the sofa to give a little bit of additional texture on that side over there. And I think it works. As far as the coffee table goes, I bought in this deer, a wood-like deer. And while I'm not the biggest fan of this color of wood because I feel like it's a little bit more yellowy than I would have liked for it to be, I did like the style of it, love the big antlers there. And keeping with the mushroom theme that I had going on the mantle here for fall, I came across these. They're straw-like, and they have flocking or snowy-like features on them as well. So I thought those would be nice to add to the coffee table. I kept the same candlesticks there, and I just bought in some new coasters. So again, there's not a lot that you have to change in order to get a different vibe in your space. You just select a few things that are going to really speak to whatever season that you're going to be in, and you change those things out. And this is only if you don't want to do a massive overhaul with your look. All right, so coming into this area, I just want to chat a little bit about what we did to the kitchen table, which is very, very simple, keeping it light, keeping it simple. And the only thing I did really was add placemats and change out the center. So I am Key from House of Kiana over on Instagram. I'm also the owner of the blog, Affordable Lux Living. If you guys have any questions about anything that I've shared here, feel free to drop them down in the comments and I will share that for you. And I think that's it. So if you enjoyed this content, if you found some inspo in this content, I hope that you will hit the like button, subscribe, and then share with others so that they may find me here in the community. Bye now.